Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the We Know Traitors podcast over here on RHAP. I'm your host, the Duke of Deception, Pooya and Vakili, ready to break down another cast member of the Traitors US Season 4 for you today, premiering January 8th. We're getting so close. We have a few more of these to go through, but then we get to that day. But the journey has been absolutely fun doing these every day. Today, we're going to venture in onto the beaches of Fiji, to talk Survivor. It wasn't always Fiji, and it definitely wasn't when we met this person we're about to talk about, but now it is. So talking about the lovely Natalie Anderson, I've got the one and only Jenny Autumn with me here today. Jenny, how you doing?
Oh, Pooya. I'm so excited. First of all, I love anytime I get to talk about the Traitors, which doesn't get to happen too often. And I can't believe that I am so blessed to talk about arguably one of the best winners of Survivor ever. My favorite winner, Natalie Anderson, and her very exciting return to television here on the Traitors. I'm very, very excited about this.
This is absolutely great casting from the Traitors. Natalie is somebody who I have thought has been on my wish list of like survivors I would like to see make the move over to the castle. And we're finally getting that opportunity. And Natalie is a very unique Survivor player in that Survivor isn't even the first show Natalie comes from. And
Yeah.
Natalie was memorable on The Amazing Race and then makes her way over to Survivor and becomes a champion of this game also, and becomes one of the more popular winner favorites that people have when they rank their favorites. Natalie's like number one on quite a few people's lists as their favorite.
Yeah, I think that same kind of goes for San Juan del Sur as a season. I feel like
Yes.
shortly after it ended, it wasn't really highly regarded. But with some time, people, I think, can look at it in the grand scheme of things and see what an entertaining season it was, and also just put the very much deserved respect on Natalie's name as a winner of this show. And then this is even before she eventually ventures on to season 40 Winners at War. But what I feel about Natalie is that she's probably got one of the most well-rounded winning Survivor games, and I think that she really deserves listen, everyone's got their favorites, you know what I mean? Like, people have their certain types of games that they really love and respect for whatever reasons, or they see how they would play in certain players, or they really value the strategic game, they really value the physical game, they really value a social game. And I just think that Natalie is one of these winners that just nailed every facet of the game and was really able to articulate it through her entire journey, and also just had an incredible narrative. Like this, that her first season when she plays on San Juan del Sur, it's a really great storytelling winning game as well, where she's on the show. It's blood versus water, although it wasn't called blood versus water. But she's with her twin sister Nadia. They're 28 at the time, and they have spent pretty much their entire lives together, and they're on separate tribes. And Nadia is voted out first, and then basically Natalie goes through this like growth period through the game of like finding her independence, finding this resilience and strength within herself, like learning to be comfortable with her emotions. She talks about like crying for the first time, and like she narrates her personal like inner journey and her strategic moves just so incredibly through that season that I just think that there's a little something for everyone in Natalie's winning game in that season. So I just think that she's incredible.
Absolutely. I think that I think first of all, the real ones knew the gold they were getting when they were watching San Juan del Sur live.
Yeah.
But I agree, it's become one of the more favorite seasons of I think one of the best seasons of the 20s for sure. I think overall
For
people just have
sure.
really gravitate towards that season. Great cast, a lot of fun characters. Natalie sticks out, and I do appreciate you saying that she kind of she's a winner that is very multifaceted and is good in almost basically every element of the game. Where I think her social game was on display heavily in San Juan del Sur. And I think that's the main thing that matters when you go to the Traitors. The fact that Natalie could convince people that she was good with them, be patient enough to not reveal that she's looking to go against them, and wait for the right moment to then pounce before they realize it. It's too late. They're gone. If there's ever been a survivor that I would nominate to be a traitor, it's Natalie Anderson, because that is the stone cold maneuvering you want to do. Because if you're able to keep a fun, happy face while doing all that stuff behind the scenes and you don't crack, then you are great. You're in a good spot.
No, you're exactly right, and this is something that she does consistently, in San Juan del Sur. Like, like you said, the patience, the vision of strategically what she wanted to happen next in the game. She had adaptability, but also, had a vision for, like, the next couple of steps without getting too far ahead, and, just knew when she had to make moves, but also did the groundwork so that the move was possible. Like, the ways that she would make social game moves that were strategic, to make sure that people felt comfortable with her so that they didn't see it coming when she, had the knife behind her back, is just like impeccable. Just chef's kiss level of balancing your strategic and social game. And then I don't know, have you ever seen this girl? She is a powerhouse. She is probably now also in like the best physical shape of her life, and that's saying a lot when you've seen, how she's performed like 10 plus years ago on other shows. So
Well, then just watching her do all these ridiculous endurance challenges during Winners at War over on the edge of extinction,
when
just
she became
running
a
around
fire
this
token
island.
billionaire.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's just, again, this is somebody who also, if we're going to talk about it through the lens of the Traitors, physical acumen is not really important on the Traitors, but
No.
if your cast values the prize pot going up and missions, they might not want to banish you. And that is a decent enough shout to have. Because while I think Natalie's okay, let's talk about the biggest thing Natalie has going against her here.
Yeah.
Because I think every tool in her arsenal is an asset for doing well on this show. I think
Yeah.
her reputation and the story behind Natalie is her biggest demon. And that's because she is successful on reality TV. And
Yeah.
if you don't think that her being a gamer and a winner doesn't impact her, I think there's something wrong with the way you're looking at this, because I feel like that's the only thing. I think everything else with Natalie is a net positive. And I think if Natalie comes in as an anonymous person, Natalie can crush the game. My only worry is no matter how well someone like Natalie can do, is this just somebody who gets to like the final 7, final 6, and they're like, you know what? It could be you, because you'd be very good at this. You'd be the perfect traitor. And it doesn't matter if she's a traitor or not. If they're going to banish her, it's like, that spot.
No, you're absolutely right, and you're articulating the exact fears and concerns I have for her going in. And I had, I was thinking about it even earlier today that I truly think that if Natalie were to play a Traitors game where it's like it's a civilian game and she's just a civilian, she's on the same level as everyone else coming in terms of like reputation, notability or whatever, that this is the kind of game that she absolutely destroys. But, very discussed, especially going into this season. And I know you've been touching on it when you've been chatting with others, is that like we're now at season 4 of the US version, and
Mm-hmm.
the meta of it all and the perception of the gamers and people that come from competition reality has kind of gotten to a point where it's like it can't really be ignored, and you have such a massive target going into these games, just even being from a type of show, let alone being a winner of a certain type of show. And I would be lying. I'm incredibly excited to see Natalie play, but I cannot say that I feel super confident about her ability to win this game, given just the setting, the cast, the meta of it all, all of these factors. I am actually the most worried for her of the three former survivors that are entering the castle here. Quite frankly, super pumped, think that she has all of the skills, all of the arsenal to do well, but as we've started to see, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are guaranteed to do well. And I think that I personally think that she's probably going to be a faithful going in, and I worry about she could be someone that's kept for a little while until it becomes advantageous to try to get her banished. And I'm a little worried about it. But we, as you've been discussing, we don't think that they're going to be putting CBS reality gamer types into the turret to start. But maybe we're overthinking it, and they're just gonna do the kind of a similar formula. Like, who knows? And I think that Natalie would make an incredible traitor. I don't know.
Let me ask you this: if they end up going with the same, and they don't try and like switch up the formula, of the three survivor players, if one of them had to be in the turret, what is your ranking on how that would look like? Because I think that for me, I feel like a lot of people in our world are hoping Rob is a traitor. I think Rob is the furthest possibility of the three. Yeah. I think Jam Jam would be the continuity of, like, we had Carolyn on, now we have Jam Jam. Here's Jam Jam. No one's going to expect this man. He's so disarming. But I think Natalie as the stone cold traitor makes sense. Unless you think that then Natalie and Tiffany, if they were going to do a Big Brother person as well, they wouldn't put both Natalie and Tiffany in there together.
Yeah, I don't think they would. Although
why not? But I agree.
Let me fantasize for a moment, okay?
Do it.
I want to live in a world where that is a thing. But I agree with you. I don't think that is going to happen. And I actually feel pretty strongly that I think that if a survivor is going to end up in the turret, that it is going to be Jam Jam. And I don't think that, I understand the argument of why would they do that? Carolyn started off as a traitor last season. Why would they do the exact same thing? Is that a little? And I don't necessarily think that that's enough of a barrier to make that choice. I really think that production would look at someone like Jam Jam and the skill set that he has. He is also a winner of Survivor. That I think they look at him and they love the idea of him as a traitor, regardless of the fact that his alliance mate, his podcast co-host, was also a traitor just last season. I do think that if they are going to put a survivor person in the turret to start, that I think it's more likely to be Jam Jam and then Natalie. And I agree with you that I fully think that Rob is at least starting off as a faithful here.
Yeah. Okay. So then we've kind of talked about the potentials of her being a faithful or a traitor. Let's talk about the potential she can have with this cast, because obviously there's a couple of connections here that we can speak on immediately. Yeah. Natalie and Rob have talked plenty on podcasts that are well documented. I don't know how recently they would have talked.
It's been a while.
So it has been a minute, but when you walk into a room like this and you got a couple familiar faces, I have to imagine you're like, at the very least, okay, I can gravitate towards these people if I need to. I've shared this anecdote on the Jam Jam profile, but I'll say it here again. During season 45, there was a special viewing party for an episode of Survivor 45.
Yes.
And I was in this room with a bunch of the other podcasters who were there, and Jam Jam was there. Jam Jam came up to so Jam Jam came up to me, and this was right after I had won the draft with him and did a diss track on the podcasters by remixing Jam Jam's "What's Up with the Bitch Face" into the song, and he came up to compliment me on that. He loved that song, And as me and Jam Jam are talking about some other stuff, I get a tap on the shoulder saying, "Excuse me." I was like, it's Natalie Anderson. And she's like,
Don't you
"Can
hate
you
when
take a
people live your
photo?"
dream? This
Listen,
is
she
me
was like,
speaking to the listeners right now. Don't you
she was
hate
like,
when
"Can
other
you
people live
take
your
a
dream?
photo of me and Jam Jam?" And I said yes. So I took a photo of the two of them. So I was there for that photo when that photo happened. That being
Do you think
said,
that they had
so
met? They met before that, probably, or do you think that that was? Because I
I
mean, that would
don't
have been what,
think
only like a
so.
few months after Jam Jam wins, right?
Unless,
So
yeah, which I mean, Jam Jam was at every, assuming was at every watch party possible.
yeah.
But like the finale was the watch party for the finale was in Brooklyn, and I was there also. I do not
Mhm.
recall Natalie Anderson being there, but
Yeah.
also these humans operate outside of these viewing parties, so they could have DM'd, they could have met up. I don't know. What I
Are
do
there
know
still
though
winner
is
group chats? Like, I don't know.
surely, right?
They're
I
probably
mean,
big now, though. There's probably like
they're
8
big
different
and like,
offshoots.
is it only winners from your franchise, or do you think like okay, but this person's from Big Brother, but we vibe with them. Come into the
Yeah.
group chat.
I
I don't
don't
know.
know. I can't even imagine the
Can't
levels of group
relate.
chats from these events. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're right. Like, they've definitely interacted. They've literally, like you said, you took a photo of them together.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
have to imagine that's probably her strongest connection walking in, because I have to imagine that there were other interactions besides this one viewing party, like you said. And I also just see those two as two people that would really get along. Natalie is just effortlessly cool. And I also think that, she definitely can get into it with people. She definitely is not, one of these people who is people pleasing and will hold back if she doesn't like someone, or if someone is pissing her off. And I love that about her. But she has this ability to kind of um be friends with anyone. And
Mhm.
I think that while we talk a lot about like a Jam Jam being disarming, I think that she's definitely intense, and that's something that I worry about. But when you're talking to her and when you see her interacting with people, she's just like so disarming in the way that she's just kind of like chill and like really
Mhm.
funny, like very, I don't know, just I love watching her talk to people, because she is, you see this like intensity and strength and power in her, but then also she's just like, you see like the shoulders fall and she's just chill. Like, I just think that she's so effortlessly cool. So I see her as someone who can become friends with a lot of different types of people, but I like, she's not one of these people who is constantly at all of these events. So I don't know how much she would have interacted with some of these other people. And so I'm sure that people that follow things a lot deeper than I do might have the like receipts of like, in 2018 she was at this thing, and Portia Williams would have been there.
Oh,
Like, I
don't you
don't know.
worry. The comments are ready to give us the receipts, and we do appreciate it because any receipt can be
Yeah,
taken and be because, like, again, at the end
I
of the
love
day,
a receipt.
yeah, we would like those. Please flex on us. Now, I think that I've asked everybody this question, and kind of we end up in the same space almost every time, which is who do we think Natalie's going to clash with? I'm going to go ahead and
Mm,
field this one. The number one person I think everyone has listed is Michael Rappaport as someone that
yes.
they see a person clashing with. If there's somebody who's going to take this person down, it's Natalie Anderson.
Exactly. That's the funniest thing, is that I've heard you say, like, he's number one on the board for anyone if they're going to clash with someone. I
Mhm.
could see it being them, but it's like, I can literally see the situation where Natalie versus Michael Rappaport happens. Like, we saw her take down John Rocker. Okay, like, anytime there's a whiff of misogyny, racism, homophobia, that like Natalie is going to clock that and say something. Like that is she does have an incredible social game, but she also is willing to say something, and put the game aside for a second to just be like, yo, what is up with this? Like, what is wrong with you? And I love that about her. So I fully see Michael Rappaport as the kind of person that I don't know what the setting is. I don't know how it happens, but I could see the explosion and I could see Natalie having no problem being the person that says something.
Right. And it's funny because I feel like there's no way everyone's right. Like Michael Rappaport's gonna have some people he's working with. Like there's not gonna be like on an island, nothing happened. But I think that for me, Natalie, we've brought up that she can stand up for what she believes to be right. She can get in your face if she needs to, but we've also talked about how patient she is.
Yes.
Which I feel like that just shows the multifacetedness of Natalie. And while I do not worry that Natalie's going to get into like some big feud or anything, I think that the most foolish thing you could do is underestimate Natalie because she's being patient. Don't mistake her patience, and decide to have a row at her, because that's not going to end well for you. She can stick up for herself real well.
For sure. Yeah. And she has no problem doing so. I think that it's hard to see, aside from Michael, like clear personalities that I could see a clash happening with. So I think that it's really more so going to be situational, like game related, where it's like she gets wind that someone is throwing her name around. And time has come and she has to address it at the round table or whatever. Like that's when you'll see her, and if she doesn't like how they're coming at her, like that's when you'll see her kind of clap back. But just on base level stuff, like I would say that without knowing everyone on this cast supremely well, although like at the time of this recording, obviously not all of them have been released. But I've been able to hear a few of them, so I'm learning a little bit about some of the ones I don't know as much. I wouldn't say that there are too many men on this cast that I see as like the kind of man that I see Natalie being like, fuck this guy. You know what I mean?
There's no John Rockers here?
No, like the closest thing I see is Michael Rappaport, right?
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
But that's where, like we don't have any like major douchebags that I'm seeing. I think that there's quite a few men on this cast that are like kind of easygoing, chill dudes, go with the flow kind of dudes that I could see Natalie working well with. I truly have no idea what to expect with her and Housewives, because like the housewives aren't always, you know what I mean? Like that's part of the thing, is like housewives versus housewives is a thing.
Yeah.
And obviously it's like that being from the Housewives franchise does not mean you have a set personality type. Obviously, we are all multifaceted, layered humans. But I could see a situation where there's one in particular that she's not vibing with, for sure, especially if they start coming for her in the game. I just can't really clock who it might be. Even as I'm learning a little bit. Do you see like someone like obviously we know Michael. We think that we could see it with Michael, right? We were saying that with most people here. Is there someone here besides that you're seeing as someone that Natalie could have a go at?
I mean, I feel like I'm gonna give a very predictable answer, which is if someone makes the mistake of trying to vocalize getting rid of Natalie and it comes back and she discovers that, I could see, and maybe this is just a fantasy booking of mine that I think would be fun. I could see Maura and Natalie having an argument.
I was looking right at her photo as you said that.
Yeah. Because I could see Maura being very blunt and shady, and I can see Natalie being blunt and shady right back. And I think that could be very fun. But yeah, I think really it all comes down to if Natalie, because I think for Natalie, I think for a lot of players who will play or have played the Traitors, I think what happens is if you are accusing me and it's baseless, I'm going to be very irritated and come at you.
Yeah.
And so in the event that Natalie's getting suspicion or heat because she played Survivor, I don't think she's going to take kindly to that. I think also if you accuse Natalie with something completely baseless, I don't think she's going to like that. So who could I see doing something like that? And specifically, if you want to go the housewives route, I could see Lisa saying something that could go sideways.
Yeah.
I don't have a read on Dorinda. Like, is Dorinda going to come in and have smoke for survivors because of the players from last season? I don't know. I don't think so.
And it could very much just depend on what her role is. Like, I know I've heard,
right.
like, yeah.
Well, who do you think is going to be in the turret? Like, who are your traitor picks?
Okay, so I've really been loving your theory about the representation of like the cross promotion of the Olympics, and also I love that you're fully locked in on Donna Kelsey.
She's in the turret. We don't even need to talk about her.
I remember like the day that the cast was leaked, that I was like, I can't wait to see like my man Rob in the turret with Donna Kelsey. I can't remember who I said the third person would be, but like I was obviously went into like, this is the absurd fantasy here that like Rob is in the turret with freaking Donna Kelsey. But no, I can see the vision. You know, even though I know that Donna Kelsey is like a fan of these kinds of shows, so it's not complete stunt casting, like it is kind of a little stunt casting, and so I think that it's a really fun pick to put her into the turret. So I do see that. I think that they're getting Swifty bump regardless of where they put her, but if they want to like, you know, make it real fun, they make Donna Kelsey a
and
traitor.
Guarantee she doesn't get murdered.
Yeah. They want to make sure that that's the case. You know, they're I guess at the time this filmed, Taylor and Travis were not engaged yet, but I was going to say they're trying to get that invite to the wedding. That would not have been part of the meta at this point. Yeah, I don't know. So I guess, like I said already, if they are going to take a gamer, I really think it's going to be Jam Jam. I don't think that the fact that Carolyn was a traitor last season is going to be a factor here. I think if they want Jam Jam to be a traitor, he will be a traitor. But I strongly feel like if there is going to be gamers in the turret, that my short list of who I see it being is probably Jam Jam, then Tiffany, then Natalie. And I don't see Rob or Ian in the turret at all.
No.
And I think, you know, going to the housewife well again, I think that makes sense. There's enough of them here that it might make sense to put one of them in there. I'd love to see Portia be a traitor, honestly. Like, here's the thing. I'm not a housewives person, but I did cover a little show called Stars on Mars. I know that Sasha talked about it when she did her Portia preview, but with Rob. So this is the fun thing about Rob, is that like, even though he's not super familiar with some of these people in like their original shows, so Rob and I had a little podcast called Hit or Quit, where we would recap some of these random shows that would pop up and maybe only have one season or two seasons. And sometimes they just have really good things that come out of it and they cancel them. But one of these shows was called Stars on Mars, and Portia was on it. She was actually, and there was like a little bit of strategy to the show. And Portia was actually kind of impressive. So I would like to see that. I think that would be really fun. So yeah, I could see like a Donna Kelsey, Portia, and then I guess, yeah, like Johnny, right? Like if we want to do the Olympics, I think it's going to be Johnny over Tara. If they're gonna take one of the skaters.
I think so. I also had not really thought about this during a lot of the previews I had done, where I didn't factor in the idea that there could very well be 4 traitors like there was last
I was
season.
thinking that earlier today, and I was wondering what
Yeah.
you would think. Yeah. Like, why not?
Yeah.
You got an
So
embarrassment of riches here. Like, let's go 4.
I mean, I think, last season they included Rob in Boston Robin late, but it wasn't
Mhm.
that late. Like he missed like what,
No.
1 episode? Like he was back in.
Yeah.
So I could see them doing 4. That definitely makes it so that what I've said rings true, but also then there is room for a a gamer, quote unquote, to be there. My number one pick on the board for a trader is Tiffany over Natalie, over Jam Jam and Natalie, I think.
Mhm.
And mainly that's because of the fact that if they're going for like one, no one's gonna expect this person to be a trader pick. That's Donna Kelsey.
Yeah.
Versus with Carolyn, I feel like Carolyn was that pick in the turret last season. So that's why I think of the gamer reps, it would be a Tiffany. So I wouldn't be mad at that pick. I think Monet would be a great addition into the turret if they wanted to go that direction. I think the more and more I see of Mora in these preview clips, the more and more I'm convinced she could be a good trader. I think maybe this is a hot take. I think the Traitors turret should be all women this season because I
I
think,
would
quite
love it.
frankly, the women would be incredible in this role this season. I think they put a good cast forth for that. And
Yeah.
so if you want fireworks, if you want a good season of turrets, a good season of Traitors, put them in the turret.
No, I honestly, I think I see so many people that I think would be really fun. Honestly, I would love to see Kristen Kish be a trader. I think that would be really, really fun. And I think she'd be really good. I don't know that would be one of their choices, but I think that she would be an incredible trader. And yeah, I don't know. I really, really would love. I would love for it to be Natalie. And I'm really hoping when the premiere rolls out that I'm wrong and that she's in that turret and that she's here for a good time and a long time. I just feel like with this cast, I don't know that there's enough other big threats. And I think that can be really scary for her in terms, especially if we think that there's going to be any meta gaming of getting out the gamers, because they're either a traitor or they're working with one. You know what I mean? Like they're friends with one and they're being protected by them. So that's my big fear for her, because it's like look at the representation from Survivor last season, where what we had ended up with 4 people from Survivor last season, and like 3 of those people are people that Natalie played with, like, and also just like I think that we're just like bigger threats, and we're the kinds of people, like you have Boston Rob there and Tony, and then obviously her bestie Jeremy, who she played both times with on Survivor, that like those are kind of the sort of presence that she could become a little bit more in the background with, where I think like Rob and then Jam Jam, I don't see them as like as much of a distraction from her. And then I think that she, like the fact that she's a winner, she's obviously very smart, very charming, and is physically capable, even though that isn't a big part of the game. Like what happens if Natalie goes too hard for a shield and people like start throwing, because she's just a naturally competitive person and she's good at shit, right? Which we could definitely see. And she's a faithful, and she's also just maybe trying to protect herself, and she can't help but compete. And people are like, why is she going so hard for a shield? Like she's trying to take them away from other faithfuls so that she's like that they can kill whoever they want. I'm just like, I don't know. I really hope I'm not manifesting something terrible here, but these are the things I fear for Natalie. I just think that there aren't enough other big like gamer names here to distract from her. There's no one from the challenge, which we have not mentioned, that technically Natalie is the challenge representation on this season here,
and the Amazing Race representation of
and
the
Amazing
season,
Race.
yeah.
Although they don't always have someone from there, I guess. But yeah, she's definitely like done her fair share of shows. we were robbed of getting to see her full potential on the challenge as well. Obviously, but I just think that if you had like a couple other big, like just a big dude that's like really intimidating to people that are like, oh,
Mhm.
like you have a big name like a Boston Rob or a Tony or, like they had like CT and Bananas, like someone from the challenge where it's like, okay, that person is a gamer and also like they've played enough of these games. They've been on TV a million times. I just really worry that she becomes such a big name here.
Yeah, I like that point as far as like the gamer side goes, because I think we've got quite a few people from like with the Survivor specifically, we have Jam Jam and we have Rob, who I think Rob having just had Boston Rob, they're gonna be like, who? And then Jam Jam is new era. So if they're not tapped into new era, so I think Natalie does fall in a situation where there's a world where they are familiar with Natalie because of, yeah, at the very least, winners at war. Like, she's a winner. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I think the other part that goes unsaid is Natalie has, to your point, had many cast members of hers, including her best friend and Jeremy, play the game
Mhm.
now. And she probably got a lot of wisdom from them,
For
which she
sure.
can use. And I think that when it all is said and done, I think the hardest thing to understand about the Traitors casts is that we don't know how familiar the rest of these people are with reality TV or with any of these shows. So,
Do they know ball?
last season, Dylan Efron comes in and he is the biggest Survivor fan. He jumps onto the opportunity to work with Boston Rob. Are we going to have that this year? Is someone going to be like, Natalie is my Boston Rob? Or are they going to be like, I don't know who she is, but she won Survivor? Which I think that's probably worse than them knowing who she is. I
For
think
sure. Yeah.
just getting the title of, oh, and you won, get out.
Mhm.
Also, again, if this is her starting outfit, she's dressed in gold,
Oh,
a little intimidating. A little intimidating to be like, oh, that's the winner. Yep, she's in gold too. Okay. So I think all in all,
her
we've summed it
color
up
though.
real well. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun with Natalie on. I'm very excited to see how it plays out for her. Whether she's a faithful or traitor, I can't imagine a world where Natalie is not entertaining and not
Yeah.
going to leave her mark on this season. So we're gonna have fun.
Yeah, I really feel like, um it this I'm really hoping we get as much as possible out of her time on the Traitors, regardless of what role she's given, because she is incredible TV, and her last two appearances on TV, I think, with Winners at War and then the challenge, Double Agents, I believe is called, where her time was kind of truncated because obviously she ends up having to leave the challenge early, like she gets removed from the game. And with Winners at War, because of the stupid all of the twists of that game, like she's a part of the whole season, but because she spends the entire season on edge of extinction and then comes back and like just hauls ass in the end game there, we didn't really get to see her properly play that game. And
Mhm.
so I still, even though she was such a prominent part of that story, I feel like I'm so ready to see her like fully cook again. And I feel like we didn't
Yeah.
really properly get to see the magic of her play a game from the start. And I really just hope that it goes so well for her because I'm such a big fan of hers. And yeah, she'll be given some good confessionals no matter what. She'll be serving the looks, especially like you said, this starting look is incredible. But yeah, I'm really hyped about it. And this has been fun.
Yeah. It's been absolutely delightful. We'll be back, of course, tomorrow with a brand new person to break down and preview. Jenny, thank you so much for giving us your time. Where can people find you if they want more Jenny Autumn?
I'm on social media at Jenny Autumn. Chatting here and there. I'll definitely be very excited and following the Traitors very closely. In terms of podcasting, listen, they keep canceling all my shows. I don't know what the hell is up with
We still
that,
have House of
but
Villains.
they exactly. So the House of Villains is coming. House of Villains has moved to Peacock after being on E for the last couple of seasons. So I believe that obviously it will not air any earlier than whenever the Traitors ends, because I don't believe they're
I
gonna have
assume
that competing.
February.
Yes, and it's got to be soon after, I think, because they've had the season in the can for a while, and so House of Villains season 3. I will be back to recap that here on RHAP with Chappelle, and I don't know, maybe one of Rob's friends is on this next season in Tyson Apostle. So stay tuned for that. I will definitely post about that when it comes along. So that I'm expecting probably maybe late February or March at the latest. So looking forward to getting to talk about that. And other than that, yeah, follow me on social media, and yeah, this is great.
There we go. Y'all can find me on all socials at Pooyaism, twitch.tv/Pooya. That's where I'm going to be when I'm not podcasting. Still talking 90 Day Fiance over on the Hot Mess Express, and make sure you're checking that out weekly because this new season that just started of Before the 90 Day has been flames. So definitely check it out if you have time. If you're looking for more Traitors content, make sure you are subscribed to this very feed, because aside from Traitors US, I will be covering Traitors UK, which begins January 1st. So be on the lookout for those. And if you are like, I'm not going to watch a whole new season, especially with going side by side with the US, okay, that's on you. No worries. But if you're looking to watch a season before January 8th, my recommendation to you is check out Traitors Canada. It was a very fun season. It was only 10 episodes, and there's a lot of podcasts and exit interviews for you to check out on this feed if you would like. So make sure you check it out if you're interested. Other than that, though, me and Liana talk every week over on the Pooya and Liana Lounge. We took a week off for the holidays, but as you know, it's a new year and a new us. So make sure you check it out. Brand new episodes coming every week your way. I hope y'all had fun here with us today. We'll be back tomorrow with a brand new person to preview. But until then, y'all take care. Have a good one.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.